Hi! In today's video, I'm going to be talking about ways that you can grocery shop and reduce your waste. I've done a couple of videos before talking about being more sustainable, zero waste swaps that you can do, and one of the biggest ways that I've implemented this into my life is through food. So I did go grocery shopping. I'm going to show a bunch of the different things I got and kind of talk about why I choose what I choose and the different options that you have and different ways that you can avoid single-use plastic and in general excess packaging on your food. One of the first things I want to talk about is the produce department. I have these separate bags that I bring rather than using the plastic bags that you can pull that they have around the produce department. Either I won't use a bag at all for something like bananas because I don't use the peel of the banana. It's in its own nature-given protective packaging of the banana peels. Or if it's something like I have my broccoli here, I just put it in my little mesh bag and then it is pretty protected and I avoided using the plastic. Produce is generally an area where the options are pretty clear, items that are in plastic and items that aren't. For example, like spinach, I buy the loose open package of spinach that is just comes like this and I add it to my little mesh bag as opposed to buying the pre-packaged plastic bags of spinach that they sell. So this is a pretty obvious way where you can choose the non-plastic option. There's also a lot of different ways that grocery stores kind of bulk bundle things, like for example apples or potatoes, where you can buy like a large plastic bag of 10 apples or 15 potatoes, or you can just buy individual like 3 or 4 apples or potatoes that you can keep loose and not in the plastic bag. And for a long time I thought that it was a better deal to get the plastic bags of produce until I kind of realized that for just a 2-person household, I don't need to buy that many apples or potatoes at a time. If you had a larger family to feed, then I could see how it makes sense, but a lot of the times I would be buying the bags of potatoes or apples and then not be able to get through that many until they started to go bad. So that's another kind of tip for the produce section, is just buy what you need. If you think you need 4 apples, don't buy 12 apples. Another thing that they have in the produce section is pre-cut vegetables that come in plastic bags. And I know that it is more convenient to buy the plastic bag of already cubed and peeled butternut squash than to actually just buy the squash. But if you have a little bit of extra time on your hands, it's not too annoying to just buy the butternut squash and avoid the plastic packaging. I know a lot of zero waste swaps when it comes to food come down to, do you have the time to go with the slightly less convenient but more sustainable option? And in the case of butternut squash, I do. Another thing I used to always buy in those plastic netting containers was avocados. I would get like 5 avocados. But now I pretty much just buy like maybe 3 avocados, say, just loose, just like this. And that is plenty of avocados to last me until the next time I go grocery shopping. So again, just another way to avoid that plastic bag. In general, I always try and say to choose glass packaging over plastic. And I'll have a couple of examples of that in my grocery haul today. But one example of choosing no packaging over glass would be with ginger. They have already minced ginger that they sell in glass jars. Same with garlic. And you can buy the packaged garlic or ginger, which is a little bit more convenient, or you can buy the actual ginger root or head of garlic and mince it at home yourself. I personally think the taste is a lot better. Ever since I switched to fresh ginger and garlic, I really noticed lemon juice as well. Buying the actual lemon rather than the plastic bottle of lemon juice, the difference in quality, I really do notice it. And I don't think that the convenience of having to chop up ginger or garlic is that much. I do have enough time to incorporate that into my cooking, so that's why I've got this fresh root of ginger, and this as well as garlic bulbs last a super long time, so this isn't quite the same as worrying about produce that would go bad. Now, I don't have the time to choose the zero waste option 100% of the time, and bread is a really good example of that. I know that I could make bread myself and just get like a big bag of flour and yeast and oil and water, which is pretty much the only components to bread, but bread takes a long time to make. It's not the same as, you know, chopping one clove of garlic as opposed to scooping it out of a jar. Bread is an undertaking, and if you have the time to make bread yourself at home and you can avoid buying it like this in plastic, then 100% go for it. But I just wanted to be transparent. I know certain things are not practical for everybody, and it's not super practical for me to be making all of my bread from scratch, so I do buy it in a plastic bag. This would be an example of choosing glass packaging over plastic, like pickles and jalapenos, those types of things. They usually sell in both plastic jars or glass jars. I like to choose the glass ones. Same for like salsa or pasta sauce, and then I usually try and reuse the glass jars afterwards to get even more use out of them. And here I have a couple of vegan staples, beans and rice. These are actually lentils, but I know that you can buy lentils dry in a plastic bag, or you can buy them in a can like this, and I choose the can option since it's a more sustainable option, less wasteful than the plastic, and also it's just more convenient because these are already cooked, and lentils take a long time to cook. This applies for all beans. And also, when it comes to rice, I have this brown rice here. They do sell uncooked rice in plastic bags, or you can get it in this cardboard box. Something that I was considering trying to make myself, even though it would be less convenient, would be barbecue sauce, so I could avoid having to buy this plastic bottle. But I kind of realized that almost all of the ingredients that you would use to make barbecue sauce, because I have made it before and it turned out pretty good, but all of those ingredients were in plastic packaging as well. It really didn't make much difference whether or not I bought it already made in this plastic or made it from the existing plastic packaging items I already have, like ketchup and brown sugar. Another aisle where I choose glass instead of plastic would be peanut butter and jelly. I know they come in a variety of different jars. Typically go with the glass one. I wanted to mention my milk as well. I don't have any proof of this, but looking in the milk aisle, I always buy non-dairy, obviously. But my prediction is that the packaging that non-dairy milk typically comes in, like this, compared to the plastic jugs of milk, I don't know exactly what this material is, but if I had to make a guess, this is probably the better option for recycling compared to the plastic milk jugs. So just another reason to choose non-dairy milk. I know not everybody has the opportunity to shop in bulk, but if you do, if you have some sort of local co-op store near you, that's a really great option. I know that doesn't apply to everybody, but I just wanted to share that I did go to a local co-op near me to get some tofu. Tofu is something that always is in wasteful packaging. I've never seen it packaged any other way, but I decided to get this because this is actually made locally. So if anything else, at least the transportation of getting my food to me was not as wasteful. And just supporting smaller local businesses is generally a good thing to do. And I also got this from my co-op, this cashew yogurt. I don't buy plant-based yogurt all the time just because it is a little bit wasteful, the small plastic containers. I decided to get a larger one because if you're going to buy plastic, try and do it in bulk rather than like 4 different smaller yogurt containers. I just have this one big one. I'm also planning to have that with granola, which is something that you could buy in bulk if you have that option near you, or you could buy in a plastic bag, or you can make it yourself, which is what I typically do. Granola is super easy to make. The base is just oats, and I almost always have those on hand already. So that's something that I do feel like is worth it to make myself rather than buying a pre-made bag of it at the store. And that basically rounds up a majority of the things I bought during this grocery trip. There was a couple other things like snacks, which are 100% always packaged wastefully, and I haven't found a way around that yet, aside from only eating fresh fruit for snacks. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't enjoy some chips or crackers on a regular basis. Those are some of my tips on how you can grocery shop a little bit more sustainably with less plastic use in your life. Hopefully this was helpful, and thanks for watching.